Should people make a significantly greater amount of money than others? Should people live in mansions while others starve? This is a question that has troubled philosophers, economists, and sociologists since the inception of these fields. According to Investopedia.com, an economist named Wilfred King became concerned about this issue as in 1914 he formulated that 15% of all income in the United States went to the wealthiest 1%. Income equality can be explained by the division of labor, theorized of by famous economist and philosopher Adam Smith, and is a process by which a society divides the jobs it needs its members to perform between different individuals. It is a process that is critical to our society. Imagine our society as an assembly line. In the same way that such a line assigns its workers specific tasks, our society assigns its members individual jobs for them to perform. Members of our society become business people, politicians, engineers, and some even become teachers. According to Investopedia.com, the laws of supply, demand, and price describe why occupations are paid at different levels. Since the leadership skills necessary for a politician are in lower supply but are still demanded, the salary of a politician is greater than an individual whose skills are in demand, but in greater supply. This inequality, the inequality of income between the lower classes and the upper classes, and the problems with this inequality, as well as the solutions to this problem, is a topic of this speech. As indicated by inequality.org, income inequality is increasingly becoming a major problem in the United States, with the top 0.1% earning 196 times as the bottom 90%. This severe inequality has been a problem throughout history and is one that has dethroned kings and toppled governments. Income inequality is not just inequality of income, however, it becomes inequality of power as well. As an individual gains income, they also begin to gain control of land and labor. The money, prestige, and land the wealthy have grants them control of government. The wealthy can then use this power to further pass policies to increase their own wealth and power. This feedback loop, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, has led to the fall of governments and empires. This has been exemplified by the French Revolution, according to History.com, in which peasants, fed up with the inequality of their society, successfully overthrew their government, turning France for a time into a tyrannical republic. This demonstrates that severe income inequality is a major threat to a society and requires policy enacted by all levels of this society to prevent this issue from becoming a threat. Virtually all practical solutions to the problem of severe income inequality revolve around one primary goal: directing wealth from the wealthy to the middle and lower classes. Taxes, payments governments require from citizens and businesses, are a way to end income inequality. Under our tax system, people in the greater income brackets pay a higher rate of taxes than people who are in lower income brackets. According to debt.org, while people that earn $0 to $9,700 pay 10% of their taxable income, people that earn $510,000 or more pay 37% of their taxable income. Theoretically, this variable system should prevent excessive income inequality from permeating the system. However, in practice, this is not the case. The wealthy often develop solutions that pay less tax and even pay no tax whatsoever. The truth is that people want to keep as much of their money as possible, and are going to find loopholes that they can commit tax avoidance through. I would argue, therefore, that other solutions are needed to be implemented by our society in order to solve the issue. I see one solution to the problem, which is the creation of a sovereign wealth fund. According to SWIFinstitute.org, a sovereign wealth fund is a government-owned investment fund established by wealthy governments in order to publicly invest their money for the good of the nation. An American sovereign wealth fund, funded by taxes, would be able to invest in projects that would benefit the public. In effect, the fund would gain its money by payroll taxes in much the same way as Social Security and Medicaid are funded. Voluntary investments by individuals, organizations, and payments by Congress directly into the fund would also be used. The fund would seek to be as stable an investment as possible, with incurred losses from bad investments being absorbed by the fund itself. This solution would be beneficial on two levels. It would ensure the improvement and development of needed public works in the United States, like roads and hospitals, and it would provide stable investments, allowing people to invest their money who could not necessarily afford the risk of losing invested money otherwise. As indicated by BusinessInsider.com, the vast majority of billionaires use money that they have to invest, not spend. In other words, for the ultra-wealthy, income is not the primary source of wealth, but investment is. A sovereign wealth fund would allow less wealthy businesses to successfully invest their money in ways they otherwise could not. The issue of inequality that the solution itself could create, in which the most money invested would come from the wealthy themselves, and thus they would gain the majority of the money gained, would be resolved by limiting the amount of money people can invest. Another possible solution to income inequality is a variable minimum wage, with businesses being required to pay the minimum based on the income and profit of the business. In much the same way, the percentage of money an individual will pay on tax changes with different income brackets. Businesses with more income will be required to pay their employees a greater minimum wage than businesses with less income. This solution would ensure that large businesses pay their employees at the level to where the business is profitable and the employee is paid a fair amount of money. This is more beneficial than a general minimum wage increase, as a general level minimum wage increase makes it so that the wage increase will affect different businesses to where while certain businesses will become much less profitable and be greatly financially worsened by the increase, other businesses will only become slightly less profitable. This is the benefit of such a variable system. Or that a business will pay the most it can while still not greatly affecting the business. If nothing else is to be taken away from this speech, take away that income inequality is not a theoretical issue. It is a major issue that affects all of us. This severe of income inequality harms those with less money, as they have less money to save, spend, and most of all live. The less wealthy, the people that likely include you, have access to worse education, worse food, and worse housing. This issue damages the quality of life for almost all people, as according to JRF.org, people on the lower class of income inequality causes health and social problems. It would be obvious to most people that the social and economic problems created by this problem are severe and require new and unique solutions to solve.